What's up, guys? It's your girl Meosha Bean. I am back with another reaction video for you guys today. Today we're gonna be giving you Kanyewest exclusive rapper tells Tucker Carlson story behind the White Lives Matter T-shirt or shirt. I've been getting a lot of people asking me to watch it, to view it. I haven't seen it the entire interview, but I know the interview is like really long apparently. But we're just going to watch 13 minutes and 46 seconds of this particular interview. If you want to watch the full interview, just go to the link below or just type it in and watch it later. But yeah, you guys want my opinion about this and what I feel. And so here we are. Let's do it.
Came from Paris Fashion Week. You just landed, and you have a lanyard still on from it, and there's a photograph on it. What is that?
It's a photograph of a baby's ultrasound.
Why is that? And that you designed that?
Yes.
Why? What does that mean?
It just represents life. I'm pro-life.
Boy, so you wear it on a badge. What kind of response do you get? And good, amen. I agree.
I don't care about people's responses. I care about the fact that there's more black babies being aborted than born in New York City at this point. That 50% of black death in America is abortion. So I really don't care about people's responses. I perform for an audience of one, and that's God.
I'm starting to see why they want to make you be quiet. When did you start to feel this way?
Pause. As you should, right? As you should. At the end of the day, only God can save you, and He's the ultimate judge, not people, right? Not man. So who cares about what people think? I mean, there's always going to be opinions about what people have opinions about and thoughts. I mean, that's what happens when you are a superstar. You are unfortunately put on this kind of, you're put on a pedestal, but then also all these eyes are like almost like judgmental eyes are on you in a way because you have such an influence. And that's what kind of let's finish watching.
When did you start to realize this?
I really felt like, I think I started to really feel this need to express myself on another level when Trump was running for office, and I liked him.
Yes.
And every single person in Hollywood, from my ex-wife to my mother-in-law to my manager at that time to my so-called friends / handlers around me, told me, like, if I said that I like Trump, that my career would be over, that my life would be over.
Pause. Sorry to stop so often, but yeah, I had that too. Living when you're, I honestly didn't oppose Trump. I wasn't someone who wasn't like, my brother voted for him, had a lot of family members that voted for him. I even saying that, right, at the time, being a filmmaker in the industry, a lot of people, the majority, right, they were like, you don't say it, don't say that. Like, your career would be over if you're for Trump. And that was at that time, and I've heard that too, so I totally understand what he's saying. It's really unfortunate. I mean, you should be able to think however you want to think and not be kind of pushed into a way of thinking, but that's society that we live in.
They said stuff like people get killed for wearing a hat like that. They threatened my life. They put my life. They basically said that I would be killed for wearing the hat. I had someone call me last night and said anybody wearing a White Lives Matter shirt is going to be greenlit, and that means that they're going to beat them up if they wear it. And I'm like, okay, green light me then. God builds warriors in a different way. I don't know if it's because of me being born in Atlanta and growing up on the south side of Chicago that, he made me for such a time like this. It's like with David, he tended to the sheep, but while he was out there, he had to fight all kinds of animals. So when it was time for Goliath to come, he thought because he was a sheep herder that he didn't have the skill set to take down Goliath. And the thing that I have is the position, I have my heart, but the number one thing is we have God on our side. And for the people, even if you don't believe in God, God believes in you.
So you made reference to the White Lives Matter T-shirt which you brought out at Paris Fashion
And the guy's like, okay, yeah, let's get back to what we were actually trying to talk
Week. Why did you do that, and what did it mean?
I do certain things from a feeling. I just channel the energy. It just feels right. It's just brilliance. You know, like as if you asked like Tanya Harding how she did the triple flip or the triple spin.
Yeah.
She was in so much practice that when it was time for her to skate in a competitive format, it just happened. Like it happened outside of practice. It happened in the real format, and that's what's happening. Is God is like preparing us for the real battles, and we are in a battle with the media. Like the majority of the media has a godless agenda.
True.
And
I absolutely agree with that.
And the jokes in that work, and this whole like, oh yeah, he's crazy, and all these things, they don't work because the media has, you know, they've also watched travesties happen, just even specifically to me, and just watch it and act like it wasn't happening, and they stay quiet about it.
What have they?
So, I want to answer the white.
Yeah.
I feel like someone caught what I was saying, the comparison to Tanya Harding about the White Lives Matter. You know, my dad is an educated ex-Black Panther, and he put a text to me today. He said, "White Lives Matter, ha 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 ha." And I said, I thought the shirt was a funny shirt. I thought the idea of me wearing it was funny. And I said, "Dad, what do you think it was funny?" He said, just a Black man stating the obvious. And, you know, my dad doesn't listen to rap music, and he's like super educated. We open up a...
Yeah, that's literally, yeah, so, well, let's finish this and I'll get to my thoughts after.
Water distribution center in the Dominican Republic together. He's like the original Steve Jobs, but he was getting blocked every which way with all of his ideas, and he didn't have an endless bank account, and he didn't have an Instagram. So all these ideas, he had to like take them back and compress them. Like my dad is the most brilliant person that I know, and we actually have a strained relationship because
So just to let you guys know, I think Kanye's actually a really brilliant guy. I think he's a brilliant man. He thinks outside of the box, not typically on what the normal society thinks, or he's on another like thinking level, and you know what, I admire that. I never, you know, obviously I don't agree with everything he does, but I will say I think he's absolutely brilliant, a brilliant man for sure.
That was taken from him because my mom was an actress, so she was a liberal, and my dad would see certain things and say, you know, we should do it this way, we should do it that way. And the people got around my mom and pulled her away, much like, you know, Kim is a Christian, but she has people who want her to go to Interview magazine and put her ass out while she's a 40-something-year-old multi-billionaire with 4 Black children. And this is how fashion wants to, how they want to present her. So I know you give these questions, and I give you like these 3-part answers. Is this a cool format for you?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, cool.
And I am following it.
All right.
So you said that your father said when he saw the shirt "White Lives Matter," it's great to see a Black man stating the obvious. So, by which I think you meant that's obviously true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's my favorite response, because I kept on thinking, like, you know, people, they're looking for an explanation, and people say, well, as an artist, you don't have to give an explanation, but as a leader, you do.
Yes, I think that's
Very
right.
true.
So the answer to why I wrote White Lives Matter on a shirt is because they do.
They do. Absolutely.
It's the obvious thing.
Very obvious
Yeah.
thing. Duh.
Why do you think that's so? And I assume the implication is, of course, all lives matter because they're lives, because God created them.
Absolutely.
Why do you think that would be considered controversial?
Because the same people that have stripped us of our identity and labeled us as a color have told us what it means to be Black.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And the vernacular that we're supposed to have. My dad
And he's answering all the questions very well. I don't see the problem. You know, it's unfortunate because, you know, being in the industry, I do know that there is this thing, the powers that be, right? The people that you don't see or you'll never see, who controls it. Um, you know, there is that pushback if you're going against the system, or the grain, if you will. Like it is a bit difficult.
Grew up as a military brat, and his family moved around, but they were based mostly in Delaware. And at the time, if they weren't the only black family, they were one of the few. And he would be discriminated against because he was black. So by the time he got into college, he would be discriminated against. He went to a black college. He would be discriminated against because they said he talked too white.
Yes.
And then he played.
I'm sorry, stop it again. I've had that. I've had people say, "Oh, you've talked too white." That is a real thing. And again, it's what people have been taught to say. I think when you know better, you do better. If you don't know better, it's like that perpetuation, that kind of stigma, that kind of, it's just going to be repeated over and over again because you don't know. But I've had that in school. Like people would say, "Oh, you talk white," or you think you're white," and I'm just like, "No, I just talk like an educated, you know, well-mannered person who knows how to use words properly." And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's like, why do we give people power? Like, no one, it's not a white language, it's a universal language. Like, if you speak English properly, that, and it's just ignorance, really. And I don't fault people for not knowing, but if you know and you still don't do, you know what I mean? I then that's when it's like, okay, you have a problem.
The kick drum in the band. So when he would go to the club and the music was playing, where would he clap his hands? Where the kick drum is.
Yeah.
So it's the opposite of where everyone else was clapping their hands. And this is the most elegant and tasteful person that I know. And when my mom, when the school suggested, like the herding systems, because what they do is take the black community and they separate us, and they separate the families, and the educated, they push this, need for higher education, and us as blacks, we discriminate against each other and say, well, I got my PhD and you don't have your PhD, so I'm better than you. And so my mom, she had a PhD, and she was influenced to move to the south side of Chicago, take this job at Chicago State University. And she told my dad, if you come for us, you'll never see him again. Because, the media ridiculed me for getting the house next door to Kim to see my children. And they even said that I was stalking her and her new boyfriend because I bought the house next door to see my children. And that's how I knew that my mom had said that to him. I said, Dad, they moved us to one of the most agreed upon to be one of the most dangerous places in the world. It's almost like they tried to kill me or something. I said, Dad, why'd you never come to get us? And that's when he told me that she was told that. There's so many things that are put in Kim's head. They bring influencers, like no one ever knew where Corey Gamble came from. No one in the fashion world knows where Gabby came from. These people were practically made in a laboratory, in my opinion.
Interesting.
And one of the things that they're really good at doing is being nice and being likable. And what they do is, for people that have some form of influence, whether it's an educated black woman like my mother that became the head of the English department at Chicago State University, or whether it's the most influential white woman on the planet, being my ex-wife, they have people that are around them at all times telling them what to be afraid of. It's like not what to do or say specifically, it's what to be afraid of. And if you have a person that isn't afraid of them, like a Russell Brand or
Yeah.
Candace Owens.
Listen, I like Russell Brand. If you guys ever get a chance to check out his YouTube channel, it's a great channel. I like what he's saying, and also Candace Owens, love her channel as well. I love the conversation that they're provoking and having. I admire the fact that we have people like that in this day and age who is not quote unquote likable. A lot of people, I think there's things that you can agree upon, even disagree upon, but doesn't mean that you know what I'm saying? Like, I think we're all entitled to different opinions. That's what freedom of speech is, and I think we have to understand that.
Sure. It's not that we have to agree with this,
exactly what I
but
said.
They're not afraid.
They're not afraid to
Exactly. They're not afraid to talk their truth or what they believe, opposed to what the majority of society is told or deemed to say or think, because subconsciously we are deemed to think a certain way. It's the system that we're in. It's a systematic, global oppression, honestly. Subconsciously in it's planted in our brain through time, and I think if you unplug, then you start to see what's really going on.
state what their opinion is.
Yeah.
Yes.
No one is God, and everyone has an opinion.
That's it, guys. Tucker Carlson tonight. So check out the full video. I'm not going to react to the full thing, but this was very cool. Thank you guys so much for telling me to check it out. I really enjoyed this interview, and I hope you guys enjoyed this dialogue. What I take away from it is just think for yourselves. Think for yourselves. Don't just believe everything you read, the tabloids, what you see. Don't believe all that, because there's always going to be agendas. I was just talking to my bestie this morning, and we had a really great conversation. And she's from Russia, even though we disagree, and we might not see eye to eye on a lot of things. I can appreciate, the things that she brings up, the topics that she brings up, and vice versa. I think that's what it is. I think that's what the world needs, instead of it being like, okay, this is the majority, and if you're not in our group or in our club, then you're out. And it's kind of like high school all over again. It's like we're being bullied into this kind of way of thinking, and you just have to, again, think for yourself, unplug. But again, it's you are what you eat. You are what you consume. You are what you listen to. You are what it matters. It matters at the end of the day, and just be more mindful of that. But yeah, I had no problem with what he did. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening, and always remember to live, love, laugh. Hit the notification bell for subscribe. Check I'm reacting to all kind of things. All right, see you guys later. Peace.